Hey everybody, I hope you're having a safe and healthy isolation time. We're still here, we're still doing this. This is actually the first time in weeks that I've put on makeup. Wow. You probably can't even notice a difference because I don't even put up that much makeup, but very excited to feel a little bit more glamorous today. I also wore my favorite hat because I obviously can't wear my hat anywhere because we're not leaving the house. Today's video is going to be a little bit more on the fun side. I know the last one was a little bit more of a downer, but that's okay because it was honestly just an honest video and the comments were amazing, so thank you so much. Today we're talking about tattoos. What tattoos mean, what my tattoos mean, and a little bit of advice. Full disclaimer, I am not a tattoo artist. I'm not a tattoo specialist. I don't know the science behind tattoos. All I know is from my experience and based on a lot of the questions that I get, honestly, almost every single day. People comment on my tattoos, and here's me answering those questions. Number one is, when did I start getting tattoos? So for as long as I could remember, I was honestly covering myself with temporary tattoos. I remember I was obsessed with the Spice Girls, as most 92 babies were, and I was obsessed with Mel C, or Sporty Spice, and she had this really not great tattoo but it was a armband tattoo, and I was constantly putting on like armbands, and I was obsessed with them. And it was tough because actually from where my mom's from the Philippines, tattoos are a no bueno, they're a no-go. So she was constantly kind of on me about putting on tattoos, but I was obsessed. I knew since I was probably 5 years old that I was going to be covered in tattoos, which I'm getting there. I'm working on it. My first tattoo was when I was 18. So as soon as I turned 18, I knew, I was like, I'm booking my tattoo, getting it done. So my first tattoo is actually on my back. It's a quote from a song. I have no regrets about that tattoo. It's just funny to say, like, it's a song lyric, but honestly, I love that tattoo so much. It means the world to me. So that tattoo, or that song lyric is actually the last, one of the last songs that I sang with my choir in high school. So I got Everybody's Free to Feel Good, which is the song from Romeo and Juliet, the Baz Luhrmann movie. So I just got Everybody's Free to Feel Good in freehand writing. Actually, the tattoo artist, who I don't even remember at the time, he freehanded it. So he did a really good job doing cursive. I'll insert a clip, but you'll see it's just, free writing, and then there was a couple of birds thrown in there for fun. So that was my first tattoo. My next tattoo was actually a spur of the moment tattoo. So I was walking down the street in Toronto and I was having a really bad day. And I just decided, you know what, I'm going to get a tattoo, and I'm just going to get one that will make me smile and kind of remind me to take a chill pill. So that is the word laugh on my left bicep. And it's in Courier font, which is the font for screenplays, because I was in film school at the time. So I wanted to get something kind of classic. And yeah. This is my laugh tattoo. It's laugh period, so it's just a reminder to take things light and laugh things off. What's funny is I actually went on a date with, he did like typography and stuff, and he totally judged me on this font. And honestly, I was like, it's over. It's not gonna work. I'm sorry. You don't like my font choice? I don't tell you. I really like it, and it's held up really well. It's still like, it hasn't spread or anything like that. It was fine. Totally cool. My third tattoo, so I guess in second year university, or maybe first year university, my family dog passed away, and we had him for about 12 years. Loved him to bits, wanted to, keep him forever. Obviously that's not how dogs work, but it was definitely super, super upsetting. So he passed away at home, just naturally of old age. And a couple months later, I knew I wanted to get a portrait of him. And funny enough, this tattoo led me to my artist that I used for a lot of my tattoos. So I found Alana Mule in Toronto. She was working at Adrenaline Tattoo at the time on Queen Street, but she was the only one that understood what I wanted for my dog portraits. Everybody else was kind of weird about it. My dog was a Great Pyrenees, so he was white with black markings, and no one really understood that I wanted more of a illustrative look to him and less of like a photographic portrait on my arm, and until I met Alana Mule, and she was really, really sweet. I sent her the image that I want to base it off of. She sent me back a lot of different references and tweaks and changes that she was doing, and they were honestly perfect. So I have you can't see my dog on my arm, and you know what, it is upside down for everybody else. It's right side up for me. So every time if I'm working or writing, doing anything really, I can look at my dog and smile, right? So I wanted to make sure that he was right side up for me. So he's upside down to the world. I know, tattoo etiquette wise, whatever. My next tattoo is actually my whale tail. So this is one of my favorites. This is another one by Alana. So the second time I went to her, I kind of shot around the idea of using whales in an illustrative style. So I wanted to do whales because I was reading a lot about whales at the time, funny enough, and just learning about the science behind their family pods and how they are out in the wild in terms of communication with each other. I was really fascinated that whales could communicate across the oceans and find each other, right? So I wanted to get something to kind of reflect me and my siblings. So I have a little sister and I have an older half brother, and my half brother lives further away from us, so we see him less often. Even though I see him less often, we have a very, very strong connection between the three of us. So I wanted to get a tattoo to kind of reflect that. So I got my whale tail, and I honestly love it. Alana did such a great job kind of taking my ideas and including the three whales that represented the three of us. And like I said, it's held up really well to this day. It's one of the tattoos that a lot of people notice. So people see that and they're kind of like, what is that? It's beautiful. And I love it. I totally agree. I don't blame people for looking at it. It's fine. My next tattoo is actually a build on of the back tattoo that I originally started with. So when I got that first tattoo, I didn't have a ton of money. I didn't spend a ton of money on that tattoo. I spent probably about $150 to be honest. I just wanted a tattoo right away. So I put in the bare minimum. I was like, what can you do under $200? So it's just simple script and 3 birds. And I wanted to build on that eventually because I want to eventually lead it to a half sleeve, which is kind of my plan for this year. So I ended up picking a few flowers. I think there's a sunflower, there's a lily or a lilac or lavender. No, I think it's a lavender because I like lavenders. My sister chose sunflowers, and then I wanted to include a Filipino orchid, which is a flower that my mom was holding in a photo when my dad first saw a photo of her and fell in love with her. So I wanted to make sure that I included a flower that kind of represented my parents. My next tattoo is actually on my right bicep. So it's another one that gets a lot of attention because it's the most seen. It's also incredibly detailed and lovely. It is a anatomical heart. So it's a heart on my right arm. I can't remember what year right off the top of my head. It's not really something I like to remember, but my dad had a heart attack. He survived. He's okay. And it definitely was something that our family went through heavily because heart disease runs in our family. It's taken away a lot of family members. Fortunately enough, I'm trained in first aid, so I was able to recognize that my dad was having a heart attack. I was able to help him until the ambulance arrived, and he survived. So we're very, very lucky. And after that, I wanted to get something to kind of remind myself to live life to the fullest, enjoy life, wear my heart on my sleeve, take care of my own heart as well, and make sure that I'm always looking after myself and my family. So I got a anatomical heart. My last tattoo is my most fun one. So I'm a huge drag fan. I don't say drag race because I enjoy all arts of drag. My brother's a drag queen. I go to drag shows fairly often locally, and the big ones as well. I love RuPaul's Drag Race. I love many a drag queen, but season 9 brought to me Sasha Velour, who I absolutely idolize. I definitely take a lot of her message and values a little bit more seriously than other drag queens. I think she's a great representation of drag art and how it's evolving. So I got, you can't see it, I was in a clip, but I got a little Sasha Velour crown. Just to remind myself that I am, in fact, a queen in my own right. And funny enough, which I'll insert a clip of, I got to meet her. So she had a show in Toronto and we did a quick meet and greet. And I got to show her this tattoo literally like a week after I got it. I was like, hey, like, I got this tattoo. And she literally, like, I'm gonna cry thinking about it, but she literally like looked at me and she was like, you are a queen, you are stunning. Like, I honestly blacked out, so I don't know half the things that she said because it was the best moment of my life. But yeah, so this is a Sacha Velour crown that was officially blessed by Sacha Velour. Now to the advice that I have. Like I said, I'm no expert on tattoos, but I have gotten quite a few of them. So what I will say from my experience is, number one, think long and hard about what tattoo you want to get. I can't stress this enough. I've had a lot of friends and acquaintances ask me over the years what I think of their tattoo ideas. You need to figure out what you're going to truly be happy with, and that includes design, that includes kind of the subject matter of the piece. Is it appropriate in your lifestyle? I've always made sure that my tattoos are things that I don't need to hide, right? They're pieces that I'm going to show on my arms no matter what. So I don't want to be embarrassed by them. They shouldn't affect my job or my career, right? Those are choices that I have to make, and everybody's different. Everybody's situation is different. So definitely make sure that you are very, very comfortable and happy with your tattoos. I can't say this enough. That being said, my second piece of advice is don't follow tattoo trends. Everybody tends to kind of see, you know, we see a lot of stuff on Instagram, we see a lot of stuff on Pinterest, like I said, where we see tattoos that are gorgeous on people and you're like, oh my gosh, this is great. And I know so many people who have infinity signs, yeah, or, you know, feathers, or things that they were just kind of following along with tattoo trends. Don't follow trends. Try and create a piece that you're going to be happy with, you know, forever, right? And something that's going to be timeless to you. It's not going to make a huge difference. That being said, if that infinity sign represents something deep to you, 100% get it, but just make sure that you're not getting it to follow a trend and kind of be cool, right? You're getting it because it means a lot to you. My other piece of advice, research your artist. Take the time to find an artist that connects with you, that you connect with their work, that you find their work lovely and enjoyable. I've had a few artists that I kind of did walk-ins with, and even though they were short tattoos, some were better experiences than others just because I clicked with them better, right? Alana, the tattoo artist that I used for a number of tattoos, I absolutely adored her. There's a reason why I kept going back. She was wonderful. She had a great sense of style. She had a great understanding. She communicated well with me in terms of my design and made sure that I was happy. Plus, she got tattoos done in so little time, it still amazes me. Spend the money on your tattoo. It's there forever. It's an investment. It's a piece of art on top of everything else. You would buy a piece in your house the same way you would buy a tattoo. That artist is an artist, right? Just because they're a tattoo artist doesn't mean they can give you shortcuts or give you deals, you know, unless you find like a promotion or a walk-in special. But otherwise, your tattoo is going to cost money. The reason why it costs money is because a qualified tattoo artist is doing it. So please don't shortchange them. Make sure that you spend the money, you don't complain, and also give them a generous tip after. I tip all my artists really, really well because I want to make sure that they're treating me nicely. I want to make sure that they like me. I know that sounds crappy, but it's true, right? I want to respect them as an artist. I'm an artist, so I'm not going to shortchange them. I want to make sure I'm giving them a deserving tip because they've spent so much time with me communicating about this piece that I want to make sure that I'm giving back to them exactly what they deserve. My second last piece of advice is think about your placement, right? Making sure that you're placing your tattoo in a place that's going to be protected, that you're going to take care of. I try to make sure that my tattoos are places that I have the option to wear a long sleeve. I have the option to not. I'm not going to put anything on my hands just yet, or like my neck, for example, just because based on my job, I want to make sure that I can still cover up and be semi-conservative. I'm not really that conservative, but just in case, that's where I am at in my life. Probably in the future it's going to change and I'll just cover myself with tattoos. But for the time being, I want to make sure I have the option to hide them. So everybody's different, but definitely think about your placement. Think about the longevity of that placement, right? So if you're worried about, you know, skin distortion, for example, maybe don't put a tattoo on your belly. I don't know, right? It's up to you, but if you're worried about that, don't do it. Think about how skin ages, think about how skins change, right? You want to make sure that you're thinking about that placement over time. My last piece of advice is think about your color options or black and white options. So making sure that you're choosing your tattoo and understanding what black and white versus color means. So from my understanding, and the reason why I only have black ink tattoos is because color fades over time, and I don't want to deal with touch-ups as much, and I also don't want to, this is so bad, I am really bad at wearing sunscreen, and the sun ages those color tattoos a lot harsher than the black ones, right? I've only had to touch up one black tattoo, and that's totally okay by me, but making sure that you understand kind of what comes in with having a color tattoo. That's it for my tattoo tour. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that answers some of your questions. I know a few people have commented on videos kind of asking, what's on Janelle's arm? It's a tattoo. I will have more coming. If you know what, tattoos cost a ton of money. It's an expensive addiction that I have, but here we are. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and let me know in the comments what tattoos you have or what tattoos you want to have in the future. Bye!